A lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
A great many Canadians, but
Like who?
I don't know who, but...
Well, you're the one who asked the question, so
yeah.
You must know somebody.
You know, not just the sort of ideological inclination in terms of taking the page out of Donald Trump's book, but
What are you
also...
talking about? What page? What page? Can you give me a page?
This is something not to be missed. These days, reporters seem more like activists than journalists. Instead of simply delivering facts or asking straightforward questions, many push a specific agenda, whether political, cultural, or social. But what happens when they try to trap seasoned politicians with loaded questions? They get shut down in the best possible way. From Donald Trump to Vivek Ramaswamy, today we're covering those fiery exchanges where woke reporters got caught in their own web. Let's start with the heated press conference. Trump faces a reporter who tried to corner him with a question about bomb threats against Jewish centers. The reporter framed it as a simple, easy question, but Trump saw right through it.
He was going to ask a very simple, easy question. And it's not. It's not. Not a simple question, not a fair question. Okay, sit down. I understand the rest of your question.
He then continued. Trump didn't fall into the trap.
Number one, I am the least anti-Semitic person that you've ever seen in your entire life. Number two, racism. The least racist person. In fact, we did very well relative to other people running as a Republican. Quiet, quiet, quiet.
Instead of playing defense, he called out the misleading approach of the reporter, exposing the real agenda behind the question. Now here's a clip that put Canadian Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre on the map. Poilievre was casually munching on an apple when Vancouver-based reporter Don Urquhart attempted a classic move. He made an unproven claim and then disguised it as public opinion. Isn't it unfortunate? Let's see what and how it happened.
On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean?
Now Don Urquhart has to answer it.
Appealing to people's more emotional levels, I would guess.
Poilievre instantly posed the next question. What do you mean by that? Give me an example. The reporter then states.
Certainly you tap very strong ideological language quite frequently.
Like what?
Poilievre presses again. Like what? The journalist says left-wing this and that right-wing, that type of ideological, before being cut off by Poilievre. Poilievre rebuts.
Type of ideological thing.
I never really talk about left or right.
Anyways, a lot of people...
I don't really believe in that.
Okay.
He continues casually crunching on his apple in the meantime.
A lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump...
Poilievre says, a lot of people, like which people would say that? Just like that, the journalist froze. It was clear he had no source, just his own opinion masked as fact. It was an embarrassing moment, but it got worse. Poilievre pressed him for specifics. The reporter fumbled more, struggling to justify his claim.
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians, but...
Like who?
Poilievre further demands, like who? The reporter admits, I don't know who, but Poilievre fires back with this point.
Well, you're the one who asked the question, so you must know somebody.
Okay.
The interview didn't end there. With each passing second, the reporter got incredibly stressed. Scrambling for a line of questioning, Don Urquhart proceeds.
I'm sure there's some out there, but anyways, the point of this question is why should Canadians trust you with their vote, given not just the sort of ideological inclination in terms of taking the page out of Donald Trump's book, but
what are you
also
talking about? What page?
Be no mercy, Poilievre says.
What page? Can you give me a page? Give me the page.
The whole exchange exposed the problem. Media figures framing their personal biases as what the public thinks. You can't talk about reporters getting shut down without mentioning Trump. Whether you love him or hate him, one thing is undeniable. He doesn't back down from loaded questions. During a press conference, a reporter tried cornering him with a question about January 6th, but Trump wasn't having it. Instead of letting the media twist the narrative, he shut it down with a simple response.
Who was here in 2021? Thank you, everybody.
Boom, no long debates, no defensive backpedaling, just a blunt response that left the reporter speechless. It's a masterclass in handling hostile media. Don't play their game. Then there's J.D. Vance, Trump's running mate, who absolutely obliterated Dana Bash from CNN. She asked a leading question about the economy of Ohio. But before he could even answer, she interrupted, something she didn't do to Democrat guests, and JD called it out.
Dana, would you like to ask me questions and then let me answer them, or would you like to debate me?
Silence. You can hear a pin drop in that CNN studio. JD Vance continued.
I noticed that when you had Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, you gave them multiple choice answers to the questions that you asked, and you allowed them to answer the questions. I'm happy to hear talk about policy, but if you're going to interrupt me every single time that I open my mouth, then why am I even doing this?
The moment was golden. JD Vance wasn't just defending himself, he exposed the double standard right on national television. If there's anyone who can match Trump in handling media traps, it's Vivek Ramaswamy. A reporter attempted to paint him as a white supremacist, expecting him to go on the defensive. Instead, he delivered a knockout punch.
I'm not going to recite some catechism for you. I'm against vicious racial discrimination in this country. So I'm not pledging allegiance to your new religion of modern wokeism, which absolutely fits the test.
He knew exactly what game the media was playing, forcing conservatives into a gotcha moment by making them swear allegiance to their ideology. But Vivek wasn't having it. He literally said this.
Am I going to play your silly game of gotcha? No, I'm not. And frankly, this is why people have lost trust. And I know you're going to go print the headline tomorrow. I already know this. Vivek Ramaswamy refuses to condemn white supremacy because you asked a stupid question.
It's dishonest, and that's why people don't trust them anymore. Vivek continued. The sheer confidence in his response left the journalist scrambling.
Shame on you. Look people in the eye and tell them what you've actually failed to tell them for the last 5 years. Own the accountability for your own failures as the media. That's how we rebuild trust in this country.
Instead of debating policy, the media resorts to labeling people. Vivek exposed it for the world to see. By now, it's pretty clear. You push a false narrative, reality pushes back. These reporters thought they were setting up traps, but instead, they walked right into them. If you're enjoying these epic media shutdowns, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment down below, or which moment was your favorite. Let's continue the debate. The issue isn't just biased media, it's the fact they no longer ask questions, they frame narratives. Instead of what do you think about X, it's some people say you're a terrible person because of X. What do you say to that? See the difference? The best politicians see this trick coming from a mile away. They don't play the game, and they don't let the media dictate their words. Instead, they expose the setup in real time, forcing the journalists to admit they have no actual sources. The good news? People are waking up. Legacy media isn't what it used to be. With social media, viral moments like these show the world how biased journalism has become. Viewers are now more skeptical and demand transparency. That's why figures like Polyev, Trump, and Vivek resonate. They refuse to be manipulated. The media needs to change if it wants to regain trust. Maybe one day we'll see journalists go back to simply reporting the news, instead of trying to shape it. Until then, we'll keep exposing these moments for what they are. Propaganda disguised as reporting. So which media shutdown was your favorite? Did the precision of Polyev impress you? Was the takedown of JD Vance the ultimate? Or did savage responses from Vivek steal the show? Can't wait to hear from you in the comments down below. We'll be back soon with another video exposing the tricks and tactics used by the media to control the narrative. Stay tuned, stay informed, and as always, think for yourself. See you in the next video.